all of us this discussion at the beginning.
Okay.
But,
all right. Well, let's do that then. So I'll just say, hey, welcome everybody. I want to thank you for being here. And as the slide shows, this is our Marketing Media Magic presentation. It's the first in a series. We'll talk about that in a second. And just again, want to welcome you to this event. And with that, what we want to do is bring in Rob Miller, our Director of Contracting, and the Business Development Director for Equine IR, and just have Rob weigh in, share a little on your thoughts on what we're doing here today and going forward, and what you see for Equine IR.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, what we're my words of wisdom this week is find a farrier. We've had some discussions with some of the members, and I have, and farriers seem to be a really good outlet for each member to find out where the horses are, what they're up to, who's the people that you need to run around with. Not being a horse person, right, completely from birth, I'm going to use an analogy whereby if you're talking to an electric IR customer, he's got an electrical contractor that he trusts with his house, his company. If it's $1 billion plant, he's got a guy that he lets monkey around with all the wires inside of there. He trusts him explicitly. And being able to partner yourself with that electrical contractor lets you rent his credibility, for lack of a better term. And so using him as a source to find work for you is a good thing. Making him understand what it is you're doing and that you're not threatening his livelihood and his business. And in fact, the way I've always worked it is, if he can provide leads and jobs to you, he can have a commission. Just as the same as if United Infrared sends a job over, you pay a commission because you didn't have to go out and find that person. Well, those farriers, they have the trust of that horse owner, and not just that horse owner, that's what he does every day. And so getting him in your camp is well worth the effort, and it's something that it makes a difference. And it's something that I know, Gary, I don't know if you talk about the Farriers Association on this, but it's something that we're looking and working on, is identifying the farriers and
in fact, Rob, you're correct. First, I think both of us we got to pay a debt of gratitude to Mike DeLeonardo, one of our technical directors for Equine IR, because he set us straight in terms of the direction we should, or another direction we should go, in terms of building membership and finding clients for our members. And so we've, on the email that I sent out to you guys when I talked about, does United Infrared really have 3,000 salespeople out in the field? Well, there's about 3,000 farriers who are members of one of the associations, and so we are collecting that data even as we speak. That project has already been launched, and so Rob and I will be bringing you more details on that. But it's one of the ways that we'll market. Now, to what Rob was saying, of course, you can certainly go find the farriers that are in your local area, and you want to develop a relationship with them just like you would with your vets, right, Rob?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So that's one of the projects that we are moving along.
And that's basically is who's in your network. If you don't know who the players are in your neck of the woods, find out, because those guys can make your rise to ascendancy of the equine world a much easier road to hoe. So yeah, getting them, figuring out who they are, and if you can't get them to partner up with you, if you can at least get them to see what it is you're doing. You know, we're always talking about going out and doing a demo and you know, letting people see what it is you do. Well, if you let that one guy see what it is you do, or gal, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but if you talk to that one farrier, they're going to see a lot of people. And so when they come across one that makes sense for you to talk to, they will at least have the information. How they choose to act on it is something, between you and them. But to me, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with farriers, it's like with anybody. I'll just say it'd be the same as dealing with a vet. There's a marketing axiom that goes this way: some will, some won't. So what? And so, just trust us that some vets out there will be glad to work with you. Some farriers out there will be glad to work with you. So find those, and if you're diligent, you will find those people. Anyway, till we kick that one in the head yet? Enough, Rob?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job of beating that one up.
There we go. So listen, you guys. We had asked you. We spoke with you guys at TIC. What you want. We've heard from you, and actually we heard from Mike DeLeonardo in terms of a way that we should be helping this business along. We like to think that we've listened to you, and so because of that we're trying to do everything we can to help your businesses. And we want to do this, and we want to let you know what's new for you and for Equine IR, and frankly for United Infrared as well. So with that in mind, and again thinking about the things that you guys have asked us, I want you to know first that when you chat with Rob or me, these things don't fall upon deaf ears. So what we're talking about today is just the beginning of the things that we are going to do. And your suggestions are very much valued and appreciated and expected. So keep sharing those thoughts, because a lot of them are really, really valuable, and you're going to find that we will implement those things. So one of the things that we're doing is some of the new stuff is in Polo America magazine. There's a half-page ad. Now this is going to be this particular magazine, guys. It's pretty much just for prestige. It's not huge circulation, but the top 1,500, 2,000 polo players in the world get recognized in this thing, and so we are a part of that. So you will be able to say that that Equine IR is an advertiser in Polo America magazine, and in fact, the ad, when you look at the ad that's in there, you will see a couple of thermal images, and one is by Jennifer Weems, and the other one is by Becky Tenges. And so we thank both of those women for for allowing us to use those images. But there's some bragging rights right there for those two people. Those are they're implementers. They go out and do stuff, and their work is good. So that's why we're showing it off in that magazine. But that ad will be out there over the next several months, because the magazine only runs twice yearly. So you have that going for you. But you want to be aware of this and be able to cite this for your customers or your potential customers. There's also an article in there talking about it's almost generic, talking about polo as the sport of kings and having been around for a long time, and then just kind of near the end it comes in and talks about the value of thermal imaging. It's a very, very good article championing our cause without being at all salesy. It is really, really good. Again, the magazine isn't out yet, but it should be probably in a couple of weeks. I want to give you a heads up on that. Okay. Ride magazine, some of you got the word on this, but we do have a presence in Ride magazine. I'm not going to go over there right now, but if you go to ridemagazine.com, you can check this thing out. You are going to find out that we have a column in there, and it's an Equine IR Corner. I think it's Coach Gary's Equine IR Corner, but we have a steady stream of media that's going into there. I want you guys to watch what we're doing. If we have videos up there, and you'll see we've got at least a couple of videos, go through there, like the videos, do all that sort of stuff. But again, This is something, there's 180,000 impressions a month that Ride Magazine has. And so you want to cite things like this, that Equine IR, your covering, is a part of this. You also, as I've talked about, you want to do anything you can to get yourself in there as well. So we've got a couple of videos that are in there, and you will see all of those things. Let's put it up here. So a couple articles. There's a press release in there presently, and I mentioned a couple of videos. We just did a large email blast, went to a couple 100,000 people, and it's talking about the idea of thermal imaging for horses. So we expect that to pay some dividends for our entire organization and all of our equine thermographer members. But we're doing that. And case studies. I mentioned this, I think, in yesterday's email to you. So what we're looking for from you guys is our case studies. We want case studies by you, and we want the, you know, you don't have to be a scientist to write up a case study on an interesting thermal imaging project that you had. Just write it up. And I mentioned that the first person who would get back to me and say, yeah, I'll do one of those, that I'd get that case study put up in Ride Magazine. Well, no surprise, that quick implementer was Becky Tenges. So Becky's at the leading edge of a lot of stuff. She's doing things. I want to encourage you to do the same thing. So she'll be the first one that's up there, but there is no reason why we can't have, and we should have, 50 or 100 case studies over a period of time. People like reading that stuff. So you know the impact that your work makes on with your clients, and the relief that your clients' horses experience. We want to hear about that. The readers of Ride Magazine want to hear that stuff. And if you can put together a paragraph, get that to me. I'll even help you write the darn thing, all right? But let's get those up, because how cool is that when you can show a prospective client your work in a big magazine like Ride Magazine? And you know, this is a great publicity opportunity for each of you. If you tried to buy the amount of space you're going to get in there, it would be thousands of dollars. So do not miss this. All right, this is a great opportunity. This is maybe for a lot of you guys the first time you've ever become a published author, but you want to get your name up in lights. This gives you credibility. Don't miss this thing.
Yeah, being famous is good.
Yeah, it is. Well, heck, Rob, I know you've been in a lot of magazines, not horse related, but in thermography and just industrial type stuff. I'll bet that you cite those your presence in those things to a lot of your potential customers, don't you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's something that once you've done one, you know, the new kind of wears off a little bit, but you don't really realize until somebody comes up to you and they go, "Oh, you're that Rob Miller."
Mm-hmm.
I read something, and all of a sudden you go, ding, the little light bulb goes off, and you go, that time I spent doing that has paid off tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does. I mean, getting your name out there makes you an instant expert.
Heck yeah.
It really does. And it adds credibility, and it takes, I mean, I know it's not a word, but it's invaluable. That's something that people use a lot, but it really is. It's something that makes, if you got two people that you're looking at for doing a job, oh, well, one of them's been in a magazine. Did you see that part? He is instantly the expert. So
I had a really interesting thing happen one time. This goes back probably 5 years, and I was out. this was in the construction industry, and I was looking for a position as a project manager. Anyway, I go to interview, and the guy had my book sitting on his desk. How cool was that? So it's any of these things that you can do, and get yourself out there and noticed in some sort of a published manner. People see that as an authority site. And just like Rob was saying, if you're in a magazine, that's a good thing. So every chance you get, take advantage of that. And we're making this real easy for you. And we're going to talk about time here in just a little bit, the amount of time things take. The things that Rob and I are doing here, these are all shortcuts for you. We've already made it possible for you to have an article written by you in Ride Magazine. It's a sweet deal. So I'm going to keep saying, don't miss out on that, all right? So we should probably move along here. So another thing we're working on, Rob and I, it's WIN, which is the Women's Horse Industry Network. Smaller publication, but it's all horse people. So we just did an email blast with them, and we also put a little article in their monthly newsletter. We'll have to see how that goes, but we intend to grow that as well. So I just mentioned Polo and then Ride and now WIN. Anything else that you guys are aware of, a publication that the horse industry values, you let Rob or me know, and we'll go check it out. And generally speaking, guys, if we can get some kind of an ongoing column or article in there, we'll consider doing a little bit of advertising. So anyway, I want you to do everything you can to bring those things to our attention. Just let us know. It's pretty easy. And let's see, what we want to do also is this. I want to talk about social media presence. I just want you to know some of the things that Rob and I are working on here. So things that we think specifically will help out with Equine IR. This may be a little bit different from the building science side of things, but particularly you're going to see that Equine IR takes a bigger and bigger presence in Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Pinterest, that sort of a thing, and also with blogs. And the reason for this is simple. Google loves these things. They put a lot of value on them, and so we are consequently, we're going to do this. We've been talking about doing this for a while, I know, Rob, haven't we? But now we're going to actually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move forward, show some leadership, and show people how to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that it's a necessary evil, so to speak, is the way that a lot of us have looked at it. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that, as you look at how the world communicates, the messaging is staying the same. The medium is changing a little mm-hmm. bit. I was absolutely floored the other day. I had a group of kids. I was at Cub Scouts, and I said something about a phone book. And the kid looked at me like I had grown a third eye in the middle of my forehead, and he said, "A phone book? What do phones have to do with books?" And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really, really, really old. It just made, and in that split second, I aged about 100 years because that kid had never had a home phone, let alone a phone book.
How about that?
And so, yeah, it's something that the medium changes, and our marketing efforts are as well.
So on the social media presence, the goal is going to be this, to have for everybody to have multiple sites. And before somebody out there starts screaming about not having the time to do it, I want to tell you this, that we're going to be teaching you how to do this with, I'm going to say with one click. That would be the goal. But the goal basically would be with one click of a button to be able to post stuff to more than one social media site. And we're going to show you how that's done, and then maybe to post pictures to more than one picture hosting site. But that's what you're going to see coming about, and the reason is we know that you are having an issue with time, and so that's why you're going to see Rob working as hard as he is on this. The other thing is, we mentioned this a little bit at a thermal imaging conference. We are developing right now, as we speak, a done for you social media platform. So a way for you to get stuff done, get it posted for you, and not have to deal with it, but yet do it in a manner that will respect your budget. So again, that's strictly it's an option that's voluntary. Just want to let you know about that. So one of the other things is this, this particular webinar today, the equine only marketing webinar. Rob and I have been talking about it, and the consensus is that we need to do one of these each month. That's what you guys are telling us. So we'll do one of these especially for you each month. You want to chat about that a little bit, Rob?
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. We've got 7 irons, 8 irons in the fire all the time between all the modules. And some of the moisture rolls over to some of the energy, rolls over to some of the roofs, rolls over to the electric, but nothing rolls over to equine. Mm-hmm. It is a completely different animal, pun intended. And it doesn't necessarily get the lion's share of our time. And so by doing a specific webinar once a month for each module, it forces us to look at where is that business at, where are the members at, what are we doing or not doing for them. And, it's basically our way of giving you our time and bandwidth to get to where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
We can give you lip service and tell you that we're doing the greatest thing since sliced bread, but the proof's in the pudding. And it's where do you want us to put our efforts to help you? And so that's really what this is about. It's about, we got some magazine articles, we've got some ads running, we've got blogs and tweets and twits and posts, and you name it, we're on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to name it. And so giving us your input as to what you need from us is going to drive where the business goes.
So we'd like to hear from you also. We love to get emails back and suggestions, and it would be really helpful if Rob and I are on the right track here about doing an equine-only marketing webinar each month. If that scratches an itch that you guys have, let us know that. Conversely, if one marketing webinar a year is plenty for equine, well, let us know that too, because we have other things that we could do. But we sense, again, from talking to a few of you, that this will be very, very helpful. So
yeah, this is.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like the hair club for men, right? We're not just we happen to be the guy out front directing traffic, but that doesn't mean that this is completely our. We are the guys entrusted with running the business, but if you're not successful, we can't be, by definition.
Yeah.
So how we can help you is really what we're talking about.
Yeah, well said. Well, we asked you a question and gave you some suggested answers. So I thought what we'd do is take a quick look at these. And Rob and I were chatting about this a little bit ago. So the question that we had was this: what's your biggest obstacle right now in your business? And I appreciate everybody weighing in on this. And here's something that I think is pretty darn interesting. Basically, the sample, the respondents, it was equally split, men and women, and it was equally split on the answers. And here's the interesting thing. The only 2 of those 4 answers Well, actually, let me give the answers again. I suggested that the answers might be, what the biggest obstacle might be this, that there's not enough time, that there's not enough horses, that there's too many competitors, or there's nothing that I can't overcome. So interestingly, the only two answers that all of you guys went with was either there's not enough time or there is no obstacle. And so I applaud you that you are not you're not using as an excuse, or you're not finding that there are not enough horses. Nobody picked that one, and nobody picked that there are too many competitors. You picked these other two things as the best answer for your case. And again, the answers were split also in terms of not enough time. It was evenly split, 50-50, men and women, and then on the there's no obstacle I can't overcome, evenly split, men and women on that one. So Rob and I, we're talking about this the lack of time thing, and we've suggested a couple things here on ways to overcome that lack of time. And so that's why we're developing some of the social media stuff. We know, and we're thankful for Jennifer Weems on some of the early work she did with social media. We know that works, so we're going to just try to grow that concept a little bit. And we're going to do this in a way that you can leverage your time, be respectful for your time. And our goal, tell me if you think this is fair, Rob, is that, obviously it's going to take time to add a social media component to anybody's business, but our goal is to be able to add that and spend about as much time on that as if for someone who was going to just add Facebook only, say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The social media aspects, it depends on how deep you want to go. The UI or Equine IR page is under one of the things that Jennifer used to do, and that I was involved in a little bit, but it's having the content to post up there. I can literally post 10 things a day if you want, if you send them to me, but it's a matter of knowing what's out there and what's going on, and it's something that just takes the time. It's not a matter of me not having the time, it's having the time to dig up the information to put into it. Once you get it integrated and start doing it, there's little technology tips and tricks and things that you can do that will speed it up, but it's just like everything, it's going to eat up some of your bandwidth. And if you've got the time to put into it, it can pay off down the road, because for each 10 minutes you spend coming up with something, well, that 10 minutes is going to be multiplied by the thousands of people who see it. So, it's a matter of planting a whole field full of crops, or planting one in a beautiful pot and taking it down to the county fair and showing it off that you know what you're up to. You know what I mean? It's kind of, they're different sides of a coin, but it is a good analogy in that, you can spend your time growing. Well, the analogy with growing works. You can spend your time growing flowers and selling them on the side of the road, or you can take a picture of it, put it in a magazine, and everybody knows.
There you go. So we just want to encourage you to take advantage of that. And I almost said I'll drop the analogy. What I was going to say is that you can, if you put a case study up on, say, Ride Magazine, you will have contact information. So you will get there will be backlinks to your own website. That's a very good thing. That's something that Rob and I have always taught. And so again, this is leveraging your time. You not only get fame and publicity, but you get search engine optimization help to your website. So that's why we do all of the stuff here that we do. Well, anyway, I wanted to let you know about your responses to the questions. We really appreciate your help on there because it's a big help to us. So as we get ready to wrap things up, what I want to do is ask Rob if you had any final thoughts on this, Rob.
No, I mean, I really kind of went through earlier with the integrating with the people in your industry, if it's the farriers, if it's the chiropractors, if it's massage, if it's the guy in the tack shop, the feed store, letting them know what you're up to and letting them see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't see it on their horse at their place. An article that's printed out, a report that you've done for somebody that you know in common, talk to that person that you did the horse for and say, hey, look, I'd like to show, I'd like to use your horse as an example. It's not like the HIPAA Act for using medical records.
There you go.
But you still need to talk to them and, say, hey, look, I'll take your name out and whatever. Can I show this around? And if they ask, would you be willing to work as a referral? One of the things that I have relearned is that if the last thing you say to somebody is not bye or see you later, it needs to be, do you know anybody else that could benefit from this? Right?
Absolutely.
It's not all about making a gazillion dollars. It's about helping the animals and in the process making enough money to pay your bills, right? You don't want anybody to come and take your stuff. But we're not looking to, pull a Donald Trump and buy Cuba. But we do want to, trying to see this industry grow and as acceptance of the technology is as the technology is more accepted, we will have better successes, and people will be able to be strictly an equine thermographer. It's not a matter of, well, I do roofs and I do electrical and I do horses. And the equine industry isn't necessarily geared for outsiders to break into it at all. Mm-hmm. And so people that are horse people, right, that's a good thing. But people that are horse people that are thermographers got to be able to eat and pay bills. And so getting through the technology barrier makes one step. And then if you can get over the hump in your area and people start seeing it, and as we grow and as our marketing expands, then everybody's going to get more successful. And making those partners and this step of the game, right, the local feed store, farrier, chiropractor, acupuncture, whatever, making those relationships with them at this stage will make you, it draws the acceptance out of them, and it lets them know where you're coming from, what you're up to, and it establishes some credibility.
Yeah.
So.
Cool deal. We will send you out a webinar replay, and it should go out later today. You should be on the lookout for attachments and links from me. What I'll try to do is send you a link to some of the stuff we're doing on I'll say Ride Magazine. That's a good place to start. And I'm also looking for by the time you hang up or you get off this call, I expect a couple more of you to go ahead and send me an email saying, hey, I went in on that case study. I know a couple of things that I could write about. And we want to get you featured on Ride Magazine as well. And let's see, I think we already hit the final comments, so I'm just going to leave it at that then. If it's okay with you, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, for us to be successful in this, you guys need to be. And so let us know how we can make you successful.
Amen to that. So for Director Rob and Coach Gary, I'm going to wish you well. And let's have a great 2013 together, everybody, okay? Take care now.
Sounds great. Talk to you later.